So I have no idea what I'm going to say for this devotional. It's less about scripture and more about an article that I read this morning entitled, "Who is Joe Biden's Running Mate?" And I figured I'd just go on camera for a few minutes and tell you what I'm thinking. It says, Democratic Party takes another step toward the radical left. And this is a pretty brief piece on who Kamala Harris is and her background and some of the things that she has supported in the past. Now, she was a senator from California, I think Attorney General for a number of years for California as well. Her father was a very, very extreme Marxist professor at the University of California, Berkeley. Don't want to judge her too much by her parents, but I think that's significant. But what I thought was the most significant piece of information in this particular article was the fact that according to govtrack.us, they ranked Kamala Harris as the #1 most liberal senator in 2019. In other words, she beat Elizabeth Warren, and she also beat Bernie Sanders for how liberal. She was the #1 most liberal senator. Now, I would like to get on that site and see if I can do some research as to what bills she voted for. What was her voting record? Just to kind of understand a little bit more about her. And I'm sure over the next 70-something days, more information will come out about her. I'm sure there's some good things, and of course, there's probably going to be some things that are very far to the left. So I thought that was significant. I went to Joe Biden's website now that they are attached, and just kind of looking to see what the preliminary party platform is at this point. And there was probably at least 50 tabs up concerning Biden's policies. I'm assuming I'll do a message on this sometime in the next 2 months, but it seems in all likelihood that Biden will not be president if he wins. He will not be president for very long. I don't say this in a derogatory way, but it seems like it's overwhelming, clear evidence that mentally he's on the decline. And so it's highly likely by both sides, I think, of the aisle that his running mate, Kamala Harris, will probably end up being president. And I'm pretty sure of that within the first year or 2 years that if they were to win. Now, on Biden's website, now here's what I'm thinking. I just want to see what topics are they saying are important, what they think are important for the American people. And then what do they think they should do about it? So what topics are they putting out as important? And then what do they believe they should do about those topics? So 2 levels. Now, just a quick overview of Biden's website, what I found is he addresses in these subtopics just about every group of people, class of people, except one class, okay? And I'll tell you what that is here in a moment. So I saw tabs about Black Americans, veterans, military, immigrants, union workers, teachers, professors, women, retirees, LGBTQ, students, Latino, Muslims, Jewish, Catholics, American Indians, like every group, class of people in the United States except Christians. There's nothing on his site that I found about Christians. So every other minority class or every other class, I'm assuming because, again, not only are these policies important, I think, but trying to secure as many votes as possible from these groups. It just was very eye-opening that the Democratic Party is not reaching out to Christian believers. They're not reaching out to Christians at all. So I thought that was significant. Now, going forward, I want to see what the two-party platforms are. I want to see what the issues that they believe are important and how they plan to solve those issues. And then I'm going to judge all of that based upon what the scriptures say. And they have worldview models out there where they poll people, and they can find out on a scale where they stand, either biblical worldview all the way down to communist, socialist, Marxist thinking. And my desire, my hope is that we can move as many people as possible, and that we ourselves can think at the highest level from a scriptural lens as we look at and as we think about various aspects of these political topics and social topics. Second Amendment, I think that would be pretty important to cover. What about immigration? That would be pretty important. It comes up here. Energy seems to be a significant issue. Green New Deal versus coal, natural gas, and offshore drilling, fracking. So some of these are not as significant. Some of them are very much significant. And as a believer, I am particularly concerned about Christian principles being applied at the government level, and that separation maintaining itself so that Christians can preach, teach, worship freely without government intervention and without persecution. So, more to come in the next couple weeks as we look at devotionals and, in all likelihood, messages as we continue our series on Sundays, looking at messages concerning the cultural, social, and political climate and how we merge scriptural principles in with that so that we look at things from a scriptural perspective. Okay? Just thought I'd share this. Oh, and by the way, this also mentioned that Joe Biden's been in the Senate since 1973. He's been in government 1973, of course, vice president for 8 years. And just looking at some of the site, 45 plus years of being in government service, I don't see a lot changing in the next 4 years or 8 years if we have a past record of 45 plus. So I do think we should look at a person's history, and oftentimes candidates who are applying for various ministry positions, of course, they go back, they check references, and they look at other ministry positions and how that individual functioned at those churches in those positions before hiring him at the current position. So I do think that digging deeper into Biden's history as well as Kamala Harris would be probably important for all of us. We kind of know Trump, but I think it would be important just to kind of look at the last 3-4 years of what he has done, what he said is important, what he's actually accomplished, what he hasn't accomplished, and just judging these individuals by what they believe. Okay, till next time.